Hi, how are you doing? My name is Rohit and I'll be breaking down the 30th match of this year's IPL, which saw the Royal Challengers Bengaluru taking on the Sunrisers Hyderabad in the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore. And here was the name of the game today. Runs, runs, more runs. And did I mention runs? Because runs were scored today, and runs were being scored all over the park, all over the place. Records just kept tumbling. Whatever record you could think of, it was broken. And now you're thinking, you've said this before. Because I have. With the same team here, Sunrisers Hyderabad. A couple of weeks ago in Hyderabad against the Mumbai Indians, SRH set the record for the highest individual innings score as a team of 277. That was a couple of weeks ago. And now, today, they broke their own record that they set a few weeks ago. Hyderabad scored 287. Again, and this is the third score of over 270 that we've seen this entire season. Prior to this season, the highest score in an IPL game was 263. That was set over a decade ago in 2013. Here's the thing, and here's what's even funnier about 287. About a decade ago, this was considered a very, very good ODI score. A very good 50-over score. As in, you could easily defend this. And even today, depending on the conditions, this is still considered a very solid 50-over match score. It's become routine now in T20 almost, and it feels scary to say. And you know what's even scarier? The fact that RCB scored 262 in reply, good enough for the fifth highest team score in IPL history. Fifth. Keep in mind that there are already three set this year, right? Then you have fourth, which is RCB scoring 263 at this very ground of the Chinnaswamy Stadium back in 2013. And now fifth, you have RCB scoring 262 in an effort to chase down 287. 549 runs scored in total. I can't even give you the number of sixes off the top of my head. It was that big. But ultimately, it's insane that the Sunrisers Hyderabad only won by 25 runs, given just how many runs they scored. And it shows one thing. This pitch, it's a complete road. There is absolutely nothing in it for the bowlers. And on both sides, both for SRH and RCB, the lowest economy rate was 10, meaning the best bowler was going for 10 runs and over. There were people on both teams going for upwards of 16, 17, 18. At that point, what do you even do as a bowler? There's nothing in the pitch. There's no seaming, there's no swing, there's no bounce, there's no turn, there's no grip. It's just, if you're a batter, you go out there and hit. And after a point, I'm watching this and I'm thinking, at this point, just replace the bowlers with bowling machines. That's what it feels like. There's absolutely nothing in the pitch. And some of these bowlers are trying everything. They're trying to take pace off the ball. They're trying to get the ball to bounce. Maybe try to get the ball to move away. Something. Trying to get something to happen, and nothing happens. Everything feels like it's in the slot. And even when it's not in the slot, because of how small the boundaries are here in Bangalore specifically, even a miss hit would go for 6. Oh, you scored. Oh, you got a leading edge, and it went over every single fielder's head? That's 4. Oh, you got a top edge, and it's all the way up in the air? It probably went for 6. And so that's one of those things where it's a smaller ground you can't really do much about. But in general, it's one of those, what do you do when the ball just comes down nicely to the bat, no matter what you do? And you have to start genuinely questioning, what type of pitches are we putting out? There is no even contest between bat and ball. It is just, bowlers are just there to be there. Batters can do whatever they want, which you get a lot of high-scoring games because of that, but there's nothing really to think about or analyze because it's just score, keep scoring, and score even more. But that's enough of a sort of digression of just how utterly insane this is. The fact that the 5th highest score in IPL history a year ago would have been the 2nd highest, and that we've had 4 scores of over 250 in this IPL alone. And that's not even including Mumbai's 246, which was in reply to Sunrisers Hyderabad 277 a couple of weeks ago. So this is beyond insanity. There's no real way to quantify or even put into words how ridiculous this scoring is. And that is terrifying. But enough of that. In terms of how the game flow went, Travis Head, he loves batting in India, and his good form continues with a very, very rapid and very impressive century, 102 off of 41. And he really just set the tone from the top, because everybody else who came after him, they just kept swinging, and everything the batters touched felt like it was turning to gold. The RCB bowlers, the bowling lineup is already weak as it is, and they brought in Lockie Ferguson to try and hustle the batters in place of Glenn Maxwell, which further also weakened their batting. But even Lockie Ferguson went for 52 in 4 overs. And going back to SRH, Heinrich Klaassen, his great form continues. He's one of the cleanest hitters of the cricket ball in world cricket right now, and he's the number 1 in the world for T20s as a batter for a reason, and he showed it again today. And Abdul Samad at the back end, I haven't seen anything like it. 37 from just 10. 7 boundaries total, 4 fours and 3 sixes. There were no words to describe that. And in my opinion, despite everything that we saw in there, I feel like Abdul Samad's 37 from 10 was the most impressive. It's just, you come in at the back end and you just find a way to get all of those runs. And Abdul Samad was the reason why the Sunrisers Hyderabad broke their own record and broke it by 10 runs. This is some of the most ridiculous hitting that I've ever seen. And again, this is a very weak RCB bowling lineup. And I've gone into detail about just how poor this RCB bowling lineup is, how frustrating it is to watch this RCB bowling lineup. So I'm not even going to get into there. They tried bolstering it to no avail. And in the end, they ended up playing a part in setting the new record. But in reply, RCB put up a fight, but ultimately it wasn't enough, which is insane to say. You scored 262, 13 runs and over, and you still lose. I want you to wrap your head around that for a second. 262 at well over 2 runs a ball, the 5th highest total in IPL history, and you'll still lose by 25 runs. Ridiculous. Virat Kohli and Faf du Plessis do what they normally do, and it's the typical RCB template of the openers score well, they just score a lot, and then you get little to no contribution from anybody else. Will Jacks got run out in a very, very unfortunate way. Faf du Plessis hits the ball very hard. It goes off of the bowler's hands and ricochets into the stumps. Jacks is well short of his ground. He's run out. It's one of the more unfortunate ways to get run out, but he did get run out all the same. Rajat Patiran, Saurav Chauhan, no contributions to speak of. Mahipal Lomror and Anuj Rawat, they also didn't score enough when it mattered the most. But Dinesh Karthik led the fight back almost single-handedly for RCB, 83 from 35. That is an insane strike rate and just insane hitting. And it's still, again, and I'm going to keep saying it, it wasn't enough somehow. 83 from 35 is one of those once-in-a-lifetime sort of innings of you were just in a zone, and somehow that isn't enough to win. As impressive as Dinesh Karthik's innings was, you just have to sit there and think, how did that innings come in a losing cause? And the funny thing is, a lot of it kind of has to go back to, I want to say, the power play for RCB, where, yes, they started well. And if anything, you look at the side-to-side comparison of the power play, Sunrisers Hyderabad scored 76, RCB scored 79. So RCB was ahead at that stage. Sunrisers Hyderabad did an excellent job of accelerating, but here's the thing. Chasing is a different monster than batting first. And so even just to keep up with the asking rate, RCB would have needed to score 90 at the bare minimum to even have a fighting chance, just to stay in line. That's 15 runs and over. Do you know how many times 90 has been breached just in the power play in IPL history? Just 3 times. The last time it happened was 2017. We have not seen a team breach 90 in the power play in 7 years. RCB needed something absolutely historic to win this. And the funny thing is, they put up something historic. It just wasn't historic enough. I want you to pay attention to that phrasing. It wasn't historic enough. I don't know where you go from here. Not even just as a team on either side, because you have a lot of questions to ask of both teams in terms of bowling. Yes, this was a road, but how do you give up 262 if you're SRH? And how on earth do you give up 287 if you're RCB? Yes, I understand bowling lineups are weak, but they can't be that weak. There are too many questions to be answered, and it's one of those games where sometimes you just got to take a step back and say, wow. That's it. Just wow. I don't really have any other words to say other than just wow. But yeah, I'm just speechless. I'm absolutely speechless. But I think I hopefully did a pretty good job of trying to just encapsulate how utterly insane this game was. And I really hope y'all got that feeling as well. So with that, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And with that, I'll be back for the next game. Thank you so much. Have a good one.